up here, up East Canyon roundabout, and the weather forecast was supposed to be partly cloudy, but I come up here and there's just gray skies everywhere. And the mountain, the peak that I wanted to shoot that gets light right at sunrise is covered in cloud. So I'm kind of just looking around looking for another point of interest, but that was kind of my only plan. That's the unfortunate part. I mean, we got nice snow everywhere. It looks great, but the problem is my point of interest is not gonna work. So I need to find like a really good foreground in order to make this light look good, because otherwise it's just gonna be a very underwhelming flat gray shot. So I'm not even really expecting to get a good image today, or even whip out my camera at all, but we'll see. But it's still good to come out here and look around, as I've never been up this trail before, so different new perspectives to explore for future endeavors. So just as I was waiting for the sun to rise, the clouds started clearing up, and slowly there's composition starting to be revealed. Like right behind me, we have this reservoir, and this valley, and this reservoir is just creating a lot of depth in the scene. What I'm doing is I'm using the sagebrushes as a foreground, capture some, foreground interest to create depth in the scene, to get those layers from the foreground all the way to the background. And there's a really good light all the way in the background with my anchor in the foreground, and it's creating that sequence of layers in the shot. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. But I do want a cleaner foreground, so go move over to that shrub over there and try to get it while the light is still good, because right now the light is getting brighter and brighter, but I mean it's still good. So probably got another about 20 minutes of this really good light, so let's get some shots. So unfortunately, just as I was setting up for that second shrub shot, the light pretty much died over there behind the ravine. Where is it? Yeah. Now it's it's alright, but now there's other light kind of happening all over around me. I mean, the clouds is, I guess it did turn out to be partly cloudy, so, because there's just pockets of light everywhere, and I'm just struggling to really capture anything because everything's happening so fast. There's a lot of interesting light, so really cool though. And my peak over here. I don't know if you can see it, but it is revealed after all. And I'm kind of in a spot where, I'm kind of in a spot now where making a composition would be pretty rough, because there's a bunch of just trees in front. Oh, sorry, there's a bunch of trees in front. I need to talk to the camera. So I don't know. I might have to look around and see if I can get anything from over here. Overall, I'm just kind of running around like an idiot trying to capture images, and it's not really working out, but we'll see. So, as I'm walking up and hiking around looking for a shot, we're getting some really nice sunlight coming through here. And there's a nice contrast between the bright snow and some dark shadows in the distance. And I'm trying to work a couple of scenes. I just did a vertical one that was into the sun, and it was kind of a complex exposure because I'm shooting into the sun, and there's also there's really deep shadows and bright highlights, so you have to make multiple exposures to get those. But now I'm going to try to get more of a horizontal scene to see if I can get just something a little bit different. But it's a really beautiful scene, so we're just going to keep trying to work it. So I think this just goes to show just how bad conditions can be for photos and how quickly the conditions can change to being really favorable. And I think this is something that I think a lot of photographers struggle with, is especially landscape. You know, waking up early is really hard in and of itself. I mean, for me it is, even though I pretty much have to get up early just about every day. But you know, it's hard to wake up early, and it's also hard to go out and take photos when the conditions don't look that great, because this morning they weren't looking that great and I was feeling pretty bummed out. You know, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get any photos, but I decided to go out anyway and try to make something of that and try to learn something about it, learn about the landscape, do something to kind of give me more knowledge about my area so I can take better photos later. And while I was doing that, the conditions turned out to be very favorable, and we got a couple of really good compositions, I think. So, you know, it's just every day you're just surprised, especially when you're doing photography, because you have such little control over most of what you're doing. And the only kinds of control you have in landscape photography are, you know, your camera settings and your post-processing. And the conditions are pretty much completely up to Mother Nature. And that's why it's important. And that's why photography is essentially a numbers game to a degree. You know, the more you go out, the more you're going to get better photos. And so just by probability, you know, the more you go out, the better images you're going to get. But yeah, now I'm kind of just repeating myself. But basically, go out as often as you can, because you never know what you're going to get. But I think I'm going to end the video here. I had a lot of fun shooting this morning, and it was quite beautiful. I didn't see anybody. This is great, you know. And yeah, I mean, can't wait to go back and edit those images. So you've already seen them, but, you know. Well, thanks for watching.